Fordham Football is back. The 2024 season starts up on August 29th. The Rams travel to Ohio to face Bowling Green. It's an FBS opponent. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, we're going to be your broadcasters this year for the 2024 Fordham Football season. Coming off of a 6-5 2023, they went 2-4 in conference, but a lot to like about what happened the first year for C.J. Montez. He led the Patriot League in yards and touchdowns and was a finalist for the Walter Payton Award. There's a lot to be excited about, and there's a lot to be excited about with the talent of this team coming into this season.
Excited is the feeling that everyone should have about this Fordham's team. The Rams are ready to roll. Joe Conlon and those captains will tell you this year is all about potential. They want to reach the potential that they haven't these last couple of seasons, finally turn those stats into standings, and we'll see if they can do it.
Well, we got two of our very own Fordham Football Rams to come into studio, help us preview this upcoming season a little bit. So without further ado, we have graduate student wide receiver Garrett Cody, graduate student defensive back Nahil Perkins. We're now joined by two graduate students, wide receiver Garrett Cody, defensive back Nahil Perkins. Boys, season coming up. How are we feeling?
Yes, sir. Feeling good. Ready to go.
Sir. Yes, sir. Feeling great.
I want to open with this. You both chose to come back here for your graduate student year. Both chose to come back to the program. What drew you back into Fordham football?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us had the option to potentially leave if we wanted to, but, you know, he came in the year after me. I think we both really flipped the program around with Coach Conlon. We came in right at about the same time, and I think that was just, you know, the most important to us. Like, we completely turned the culture around. We wanted to be a part of it and see it all the way through, basically. So that's why I came back, and I knew we had something special going on, and I knew we could take it up another level from last season.
Yeah, picking back off what Garrett said, I feel like me and the guys had some unfinished business left. Like, I feel like we can go out there this year especially and go out there and do something great with this group of guys. I mean, we have a lot of senior guys. We have a lot of young guys that's buying into the culture, buying into the program. And, I feel like we can go and get it all this year.
Yeah, definitely. You guys talking about culture changes. One of the biggest changes was on that defense. So, Nahil, I'll kick it to you. That defense took such a big leap last year under Coach Gant. So from your perspective, what were the biggest components to you guys having so much better of a defense last year than years prior?
I mean, with Coach Gant, he's been in the system since I've been here. So having a guy that's coached around a group of guys like us, I feel like he knew what he wanted with the guys that he had, and he put it in place. So, I mean, I love Gant. We got him 2 years in a row. This is going to be my first year having the same DC 2 years in a row. So, I mean, the ceiling is high for us.
You do have a new coach back there, the defensive back coach, Trey Henderson. I'm just curious, anything changed there systematically for you guys, or how has Trey come in and been with you guys?
Ty Henderson, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He came from Florida. Prior, he was at Bowling Green, who we play this week, and Columbia. His dad's an NFL coach as well.
He's been in the Giants, right?
Giants.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for like 18 years, so he has a lot of knowledge on the game that I feel like he's helped me with the little things and the stuff that I've been struggling with. Ty has been able to introduce that to me, so I love him to death. He's a good guy, and I'm glad that he's on the team.
Yeah, and with this new cornerbacks coach, you guys seem to be playing a little bit of a different coverage in that scrimmages. I kind of noticed that your corners are really far inside of the wideouts with their eyes glued to the backfield, kind of giving zone, giving that they're looking at the quarterback, but then when they read pass, they flip their hips, go right into straight man. Is that kind of to stop the run a little bit more? You and a lot of the corners really good tacklers, so trying to get them involved?
With Coach, his philosophy right now is like letting us be loose, letting us play football, and I really appreciate him and respect him for that. He's teaching us the basics. He's teaching us the stuff that we need to know, but he's letting us play how we want to play. So I think that's what's going into that. And in the back end, I mean, this is a good group of guys. Both safeties coming back from starting last year. We got Kemp, we got Justin on the other side, getting some great reps. So we're very deep at this position. So, I mean, he's letting us be free right now. So,
Patriot League Media Days, CJ had an interesting quote about the way you guys run offense that I wanted to ask you about, because they were talking about, hey, how do you adjust to the offense? And he was pretty honest about, like, it took me a while. He had this quote where it was like, there's not timing, but there is, and he mentioned that, like, the wide receivers have a lot of choice with their routes. So from your end, I'm curious, like, how long did it take you to really get comfortable with the system if it seems like you guys have a lot of choice of when you can break or where you can go with each route? And once you mastered it, I mean, how fun is that to be able to have that power?
It really is the best offense as a wide receiver. We call it the deep choice game. Coach Decker and Coach Aselta put it in. And basically, I don't want to give too much away, but
keep the trade secrets, of course.
At certain decision depths, we can choose to go, hook it up, dive. We have so many different options. I know it keeps Niles on his toes during practice, but as a receiver, this is definitely the best offense you want to be in. They split us out wide. We got a lot of options, and I know it gives CJ a lot of options too. It's not just like, he's got one route on the outside, and that's where he has to throw the ball. He's got a lot of guys all over the field. So
I would imagine that puts a lot of stress, a lot of emphasis on having that familiarity, that chemistry. Like, I know that was a big point for CJ, was coming in, putting in the extra work to get to know you guys. How was that for you between you and CJ, and now you have the full year under your belt with him?
Yeah, I mean, right when he got here, it just kind of felt natural. It felt like I'd been playing with him for a long time. He just knows where to put the ball, and I know where to be, that we just had that connection right away. And he's one of my closest friends, too, so we're always coming up with new things to do on the field. And, that connection's important. I think Makai, Cole, all the guys would agree that we definitely got lucky when CJ came in. So.
Yeah, you were mentioning Coach Petrarca, and now it's his third season with you guys as a whole group. And now that you have these 3 seasons all together, how has this receiver room grown closer as a family, and what can we expect to see out of you guys this season?
Yeah, I mean, the best receiver rooms that I've been in so far, not just at Fordham, but in my entire life, have been the ones where it really feels like a brotherhood. From top to bottom, even the young guys. I love all the young guys. And, now having a receivers coach that, we genuinely love and want to produce for, I think that's really important. And, we've just seen a lot of improvement over camp. We lost MJ Wright. We needed some guys to step up. But, Coach Petrarca's he's been hard on us, but, that shows us that he cares, and I think we're going to have a really good year.
Yeah, you mentioned the young guys like Ricky, KJ, Noden, even Jack Freeberg, a guy we saw a lot in the scrimmage. Is there any in particular you want to maybe give a shout-out to that's been doing really well, or what can you say about their development as young guys?
No, all those guys, I mean, they're only sophomores. They still got a long way to go, but they've really, really, really improved. They're all going to play a big role, and that's one thing that Coach Petrarca emphasized, everyone has a chance to play. Nothing's set in stone. And, those guys know that. So shout out to all of them. Ricky, Noden, KJ, Jack, they're all great players. We got some freshmen coming in. But, yeah, everyone can have a role in this offense, especially with the amount that we run.
We were laughing a little while ago. It feels like you can go every year back for like 5 years, and like the wide receiver core always feels so deep. Even back to like Hamza El Zayat when you guys had like he was like your number 4. You guys have all conference players everywhere on the field. For you guys, I remember talking right here last year with Steven when he brought in some of the freshman defensive backs. So guys like Osman and Mathani and even Nate Lindsey Gill, Justin Johnson, and like he raved about them coming in. They hadn't even played a game yet, and he was like, you just watch, like these guys are gonna come in and you're gonna be shocked at how good they are. And then especially for Osman and Mathani, like they worked into major starting roles. As someone that's in that defensive back working with them in the secondary, like what impressed you about the young guys, and what do you think allowed them to, right from the jump, felt like they had a major impact on what you guys did in the secondary?
I mean, same thing right now. We have young guys coming through. We got TJ. He's a specimen. I'm not going to lie. TJ's good. Drew, he's doing good. He's going to be one of the guys that we have to teach a little bit more, but he's good. But, I mean, these guys really bought into the game of football. Like, they really have passion about football. So we're coming in the office. We're in the meeting room. Like, guys is raising their hand, asking questions. Very, very collaborative type of group. So if you mess up, I mess up, we fix it as a group. You feel me? So I feel like we're more family oriented this year, especially. But I mean, on the field, guys are flying around to the ball. Like I'm over here thinking I got to tell you what to do. He's like, hey, Perk, you got to get on this thing. You got to get right. And these are young guys. Like I've been here for 5 years. I got sophomores and freshmen telling me what to do. So I'm like, I'm very excited about the young guys that we have right now, especially coming into this year. I mean, a lot of them are going to be playing just like last year. So we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, and sticking with that defense, another addition on the coaching staff, not even on the player side of it, is Ryan Greenhagen. You guys have played with both of them before. Not in your position groups, but you both played with him. Do you remember your reactions when you heard the news that Greeny was coming back?
Man, flipping Greeny.
I still call him Greeny sometimes.
I know. I got to check myself. I'm like, okay, Greeny's Greenhagen. Coach Greenhagen. I'm very excited. I mean, very talented guy. I mean, his stats speak for himself. His accolades speak for himself. He's coming in bringing that same energy that he was as a player, as a coach. I mean, he's on the sideline yelling at guys, get back to the second line. Like, this is a little thing.
We saw it.
We
saw the one.
Like, nah, he's not playing around. Like, it's going to be the same serious Greeny that we seen 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Same Greeny, but now in the coaching position. But I love it. I love having him on the sideline because I know we have a guy that's been there, done that, and is able to teach the young guys, hey, if you want to be great, you got to listen. So, it's great to have him on the sideline.
I talked to Conway about him, and then Jaws talked about it at the Patriot League Media Day. It seems like he's just a genius when it comes to football, because they both talked about like watching film with him and how much that helped him early on. Like, is he just like one of those guys where like almost when they talk about Luke Kuechly when he came with the Panthers, like it just clicks right away for him. He's able to see everything.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, like it's like at the line of scrimmage, he's over here calling this out, pre-snap reads, pro-snap reads. Like he's on 10. He's on 10.
It's like a love for the game that just doesn't go away, even when football itself is over.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, after practice, he's over here running laps,
Yeah.
med ball slams,
He just
stadiums.
loves
He's grilled meathead.
Yeah, I've never seen an entire practice stop the way it did when he yelled at you guys. It was after an interception or a really good defensive play. And
he's like, no, we're going to keep the standard, and that's the standard that I left this school with.
Yeah.
We're not going away from that standard. And I love that. That's why I'm like, I appreciate for what he's doing. That's funny though.
overall, as a whole, Fordham was second in the league statistically, both offensively and defensively last season, despite finishing only fourth in the league. So what improvements have you guys made to climb over that hump and finish higher where you're supposed to be in the standings this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, we made a lot of internal mistakes. It felt like on a lot of drives we ended up shooting ourselves in the foot. Mistakes that we typically don't make, and that was kind of the focus going into the offseason. Like, that's what we got to clean up because we have such a high-powered offense that runs on us not making mistakes, making full-speed decisions. And when you have a penalty or something, it slows down our tempo, and that's the biggest part of, why we're such a high-scoring offense. But, we've been cleaning that up the whole offseason, and that's going to be big for our success this season.
Yeah, defensively, we got focusing on little things right now. Penalties. Third down, getting off the field. That's our main focuses this year. We shot ourselves in the foot, like he said. Same thing with defense, with penalties. We're doing good. Momentum's on our side, and then boom, we jump off sides or PI or roughing the passer. Like, we got to fix those little things. As far as pass and run game, run game we did very well last year. Pass game, like I said, with our new coach, he's letting us be more free, so we're going to be way more tight on routes this year. So, I'm excited about the year.
One of the things CJ mentioned a few weeks ago was he wanted to see the offense get more explosive. So I'm curious for you, Garrett, if there's any way to generate explosivity. Obviously, with when Tim was here a couple years ago, that one year that you guys averaged almost 50 points a game,
Right.
It almost felt easy. Like, are there any keys to getting that extra level of explosivity? Because again, led the league in passing yards, it led the Patriot League in passing yards last year, but CJ seems to think there's a higher level you guys can reach.
Right. Yeah. I think last year was his first season, so getting that year of comfortability under his belt will definitely be huge for us. And then the same thing you were talking about it earlier, like the connection with the receivers. Now that we have that year, me and CJ, Makai, CJ, these are guys that we live with. We've gotten really close, and I think that plays a big role into the comfortability on the field too. So, yeah, our offense is regardless going to be explosive just because of the play calling we have and stuff. But I think now that we have that year under our belts and stuff together, I think the sky's the limit this year.
Yeah, two guys who have won a lot of honors, a lot of Phil Steele honors between you two right here. Two guys on the same team that have been going against each other a lot at practice. So what's that been like? Who's been winning?
Me and Nahil have been going against each other for the past 4 years, every single day.
Battling.
But, like, at the end of the day, like, we'll go out for practice and it'll be like one-on-ones, and I'm like, really? Like, I got to go against Nahil again? But, like, that keeps me it keeps me on my toes every day. I know he would say the same thing. And that gets me prepared. Like, we're going to play Bowling Green. They're, a good MAC school. I'm sure they have some good DBs. I know they have a good DB coming back. He has preseason, all MAC honors and stuff. But, Niall's he's kept me ready. And, when I go against Nahil every day, it makes it feel, a lot easier going against some of these other corners around the league and, out of conference games and stuff. So
yes, highlighting what Garrett says. It's Garrett Cody. Like, we're talking about a blazing receiver. Like, he's going to give me good looks. He's going to give me in-game reps. Like, I that's what I need to go against, and that's why I love going against Garrett every play. That's why I look for his side. I'm like, where's Garrett at? Let me go get these.
I'll run to the other side to get away from Nahil. Follow me over.
I'm like, I need those reps, Garrett. I'm sorry, bro. He's gonna give me the best I need. You feel me?
Yeah.
Throughout the season. So.
Agreed.
You both had such good seasons last year, and it ended with you both got recognized in the all-conference honors for the first time as seniors. I imagine that's got to be rewarding because you both talked about you've given a lot to this program. You've been here now for 5 years, and to see it culminate in a way. I know the season doesn't end from a team perspective the way you want it to, but for both of you to have such strong seasons to get that recognition, I imagine that's got to feel pretty good.
If it does feel good, but like I said earlier at the very beginning, I have unfinished business. I think we both have unfinished business. The sky's the limit. Like we said, we could be better than that. So I feel like All-American, you know, getting a ring for the team, like that's what we need next. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, I mean, just like we both came in, we both battled a lot of injuries, so you know, to finally be recognized, it definitely felt good. But like preseason awards, just in general, they really don't mean anything at the end of the day. You know, so I know Nahil would say the same thing. You know, the awards we're focused on are the ones at the end of the season, not just personally, but for the team too.
Exactly.
I'll ask this though, right? Because you've both been here for a while, and I got to ask MJ and Steven a similar thing. Like, you've seen this program really evolve to the peaks that in 2022, but like, when you guys first came in, when MJ first came in, there were some tough seasons in there. I know that now we have like 4 really strong seasons back to back to back. How have you seen this program evolve to the point where now you're getting these really talented freshmen come in and make an impact, and feels like every year you can say Fordham has a chance to win the Patriot League title? How have you seen this program evolve under coach?
I mean, that's why I came back. That's the main reason. Like, I see like the ceiling for us is crazy. I mean, coming back every year, day in and day out, like we can see everybody's buying in day in and day out, and I love the culture that we have going on. Players are buying in, coaches are buying in. I like it. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, the grade that, you know, in the group that I came in with, I think Nahil's great as well. We just had a love for the game, and I remember, you know, my freshman year I wasn't playing, same sophomore year too, and it just like it felt different than what it feels like now. You know, guys just wanted to get through the season. People just like it's hard to describe almost. It just felt different. Like people wanted to just get through the season and just move on, like focus on other things. But you know, I think both of our grades just really had that love for football, and we truly wanted to, like, you know, we both come from, you know, perennial football high schools, or high school football teams, and
bringing that culture back.
Right, exactly. Like playing at like Bergen Catholic in New Jersey, like that's what I came to Fordham for a reason. That's why. I wanted that same environment, and I knew that, you know, the only way to get that was to build it from the bottom up. So, yeah, that's why I came back too. Like Nahil keeps saying, you know, we got unfinished business, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to get a little insight here. I want to get a sleeper from both of you guys. If I was running a fantasy football league for the Patriot League, who's one guy on offense and defense, he's going late rounds, no one really knows him right now, maybe he's young. But who is it that's going to have a really good season that we're not expecting? There's that one guy every year, a young guy, maybe Andrew Osman last year, you type of guy, you know?
I got a good one. For the offense, I think Ricky Parks.
Nice.
You know, Julius is obviously, he's unbelievable. But having Ricky Parks in there too, you know, kind of like a Fast and Furious duo, I think he's going to have a breakout season, honestly. And like he played a few drives in the Albany game last year, and he was like running for like 20 yards a carry. But he got hurt, and now he's finally healthy, and I think he's going to be a force with Julius too. So
I got 3 young guys.
Oh,
give it to me.
Here we go.
Real underweight. People will be like, what? But yeah, no. D-line, I like John Scott this year. I'm not gonna lie. John Scott has been showing me something that I didn't think he had in him, but he's looking good. And then 2 guys that, I mean, one really got on the field a little bit last year. Justin Johnson. He's been looking very, very good fall and spring. The sky's the limit for that guy. And then TJ, a freshman, an incoming freshman, just like last year with Eisen and Donnie. He has the ability to be great, and I think when we get him in the position where he can be, he can do some special things on the field.
All right, Evan, you got anything else there? Yeah. All right. Garrett Cody, Nahil Perkins, thank you so much for taking the time, guys, and good luck this year, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
That was great. Again, a huge thank you to Garrett and Nahil for taking some time, spending some time with us in the studio. They were great, and I think they did a really good job of helping set up this season. A big thing that they harped on was they feel like they have unfinished business, and I think that goes back to the last few years with the Tim DeMorat era, Tim breaking all those FCS Patriot League records, and that fantastic year where they average almost 50 points per game, but they fall up short. I mean, they make the playoffs, but they lose in the first round, so they don't win the Patriot League title that year. Holy Cross still had it, so they're still chasing their first Patriot League title since 2014. They were picked 3rd in the preseason poll, but again, the talent undeniable, and you mentioned it in the interview, 2nd in points, 2nd in offense, 2nd in defense, and a lot of those key players returning. There's a ton of talent and a ton of reason to buy in that this year could be the year that they get it done.
Yeah, Fordham, a team that typically showcases a lot of talent. A word that I heard those two use a lot was culture as well, Lou, talking about how much they have changed. Garrett kept saying the year we came, talking about him and Nahil together coming in one year after another with Joe Conlon recently being there. And I think you hit it on the nose. I think a Patriot League title is exactly what you need to cap off that culture change. I think the culture's officially changed if you can go ahead and turn this talent, turn these stats into results. That's what Joe Conlon's preaching to this team in the locker room. They want results. They have pretty much everything else. You mentioned the Phil Steele All-Americans. They have talent up and down the board. Just got to find a way to put it all together this season behind the backs of really big names, C.J. Montez, Matt Jaworski, James Conway, amongst some of the biggest in the FCS, Lou.
I mean, you got some pretty cool awards here. You got the Patriot League preseason Defensive Player of the Year. That goes to Matt Jaworski. First player in Fordham history to get it since Ryan Greenhagen, and they're the only two really going back to 2005. So good company to keep, and Greenhagen's on the coaching staff now. C.J. Montez gets the Phil Steele Patriot League preseason Offensive Player of the Year. And I think for good reason, came in that first year filling in for the shoes of Tim DeMorat, which is no easy feat. 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, just one interception. I think as Garrett said and talked about, like, that was only his first year, and he really set the tone, and now they're going to set the bar even higher. You have 9 All-Patriot League honors in the preseason, which is second most, trailing only Lafayette. So, again, we talk about talent, it's undeniable. I think the big question is, can they put it all together? Because for a team that finished second in offense, second in defense, you did not expect that team to finish 4th overall and 5th in conference record. So, clearly there were intangibles, and Garrett and Nahil even talked about it. Issues with penalties, intangibles, things that they weren't doing right to win some of those games down the stretch. And you look at how many games could have gone one way if a penalty doesn't happen, if a turnover doesn't happen. So you're looking for them to put all that together and chase the Patriot League title.
Yeah, this team has an entourage of talent with them, but they have for the past couple of seasons. That's been a repeating theme for Fordham, having the most honored players in the preseason and postseason. But Joe Conlon will be the first one to tell you never getting that ring, and that's really what all these guys want on their finger to do it. I think the word is timing. You know, we talk about with this offense, Garrett Cody was just telling you about it, how it's so timing-based because him and CJ have to be on the same page chemistry-wise. Nahil Perkins was telling you on defense how he has younger guys telling him to run the right play as a fifth year now. So when it all comes down to timing and getting it all figured out, I think the Rams will be able to do it this season if they can focus on that one thing, timing, doing the right thing at the right time.
When you look at the Patriot League, Joe Conlon in Media Day said it's probably the most competitive it's ever been. You have a really nice Colgate team, but I think the two that you really watch out for here, Lafayette and Holy Cross, they were co-regular season champions in 2023. It was a big breakout year for Lafayette, led by Jamar Curtis, who was the preseason Offensive Player of the Year this year. Dean DeNoble has stepped in at quarterback there. For Holy Cross, feels like a changing of the guard. Their coach is gone. Matt Sluke is gone. There's still a lot of talent, so I think when you look at the Patriot League and the landscape, Fordham should feel like they have a chance to compete. I think the two teams that are also going to be in that mix, it's Lafayette, it's Holy Cross.
Yeah, Fordham hates the color purple. That being for Holy Cross, this is a team that with Matt Sluka and Bob Chesney has given this Fordham offense and defense nightmares over the past few seasons. Philly specials to win 50-point games, to win Patriot League championships. There's a lot of bad blood between those two teams, and then you go into Lafayette as well with a lot of young talent. They left some talent that went to the NFL, went to different places after last season, but still coming back with Dean DeNoble and that offense. Interested to see if Holy Cross keeps that crusading going with Bob Chesney leaving, no longer Matt Sluka, but it just seems to be a Holy Cross thing that they come and beat Fordham every season. They'll have that game checked off on their list, and Lafayette as well. But you can't look over the other teams in the league also, Lou. I mean, Georgetown, Colgate, not some of the better, more prolific teams, but teams with a lot of returners, sneakily good teams. There's always that one. Last year was Lafayette that nobody accounts for, and then they rise to the top. So Fordham looking to be that team rising to the top this season.
I mean, Colgate 4-2 last year in conference, Georgetown 3-3, and they beat Fordham. That was their first Patriot League game. Both of those teams finished ahead of them in the conference standings, and that's all that matters when you're talking about a Patriot League title. So for Fordham, I mean, look at this schedule. Really tough out-of-conference schedule. Joe Conlon honestly comped it to what it was 2 years ago in that final year with DeMorat. So you open with an FBS opponent, Bowling Green. That's a MAC team. 2 years ago it was Ohio, and that was a 1-point loss. But you have Stony Brook, you have Monmouth, you have Dartmouth in the Ivy League, and then you have all your conference play. So they're going to challenge themselves this year, and Colin went out of his way to say you want it to be challenging.
Yeah, and you got to beat the Patriot League teams, the teams you're supposed to beat when you're going up against such hard opponents in other leagues, CAA, Monmouth, Stony Brook, teams that Fordham's played a lot in the past, actually, in that Tim DeMorat era, even last season. So familiar with facing these teams, and it seems to be a pretty good game every time Fordham's played a type of Monmouth, Stony Brook team. Recently, these teams we know have a little bit more scholarships to give out. They're in a different league. It's a little bit more advanced over there, but Fordham definitely has to beat the teams in the same league that are given the same things to win if they want to go ahead and beat those teams as well.
I'll highlight a few key dates with the schedule. Obviously, August 29th, that's a Thursday night. That's the start of your 2024 Fordham football season. Move over to October 5th. That is the start of Patriot League play. It's also family weekend, and that's when Lafayette comes to town. So your first taste of Patriot League action is going against one of the reigning champs. Holy Cross is the very next week in Massachusetts, October 12th. Those, I think, are the two big ones that you're highlighting in terms of big Patriot League matchups. Homecoming, September 14th versus Stony Brook. I want to round this out with, we asked them, we got their answers. I want to ask you, who's a guy in the Fordham roster? We give the praise to the top guys. Who's someone we're not talking about that could sneaky have a big impact this season?
Well, for me, it's going to be in that stacked receiving core as well. It's going to be Cole Thornton, a guy from Georgia, same high school as Taj Barnes and Nahil Perkins. They all came up together from that Georgia area. But Cole Thornton, a very good receiver who hasn't gotten the chance to showcase that over the seasons, whether it be injury, whether it be almost NFL caliber guys ahead of him. A guy on a lot of other Patriot League teams would have been starting from a very young age, but he'll be in that starting role opposite the side of Garrett Cody this season. And with teams draped all over Garrett and Mackay without knowing Cole Thornton's name too well, pretty much, I'm expecting him to take advantage of a lot of weak coverage, some one-on-one matchups, and overlooking. So expect number 6 to go a little crazy this season.
I'm going to go, I don't know if this is a cop-out, but you gave offense. I'm going to go defense. And with this defense, I think a lot of attention goes, obviously, to Jaworski, preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Perkins gets a lot of attention. He's arguably the best cornerback in the Patriot League right now. James Conway, tackle machine. You could argue he's the best linebacker in the Patriot League. Someone that maybe doesn't get the same love as those guys, but you could argue is the best interior D lineman in the Patriot League, Sam Burkle.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we always joke about, the 4 fumbles that he recovered last season. I feel like anytime there was a ball, just say Burkle fell on top of it because that's what happened. But also, I think, was a beast on the line. 35 tackles, 4.5 for loss. Really a key component next to Cloudy Robinson of the interior line. And I think one of the best D-lines in the Patriot League. But Sam Burkle is just a lightning rod in the middle there. And someone that I think fans should keep an eye on.
Yeah, if you're around the ball after the play as a defender, you're told you did a good job. You're supposed to be there on film, and he's on top of the ball on the film, no matter where it is. Led the Patriot League in fumble recoveries, 4 of those. And then we saw in the scrimmage, Lou, a pick 6. So maybe you could throw him back there, give him a nickel spot as an interior lineman. Either way, a very good player on a very good defense.
Fordham Football 2024 season coming up. 11 of the 12 games can be found right here, 90.7 FM. All 12 will be on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Evan and I will have you all season long with the broadcasts. Really excited to get going. Really excited to see Fordham Football try and chase their first Patriot League title since 2014. Once again, for Evan Harkin, Lou Orlando, the Fordham Football season starts next week, August 29th, up at Bowling Green. We hope it's a good one.